Did you notice that constantly throughout this movie, the sound effects and the score, it's like the stock footage or stock music and sound effects you hear in everything or whatever?
Yeah, well, of course it is.
Not a word.
Of course it is.
They do that one dun like sound effect. It's not Jaws, but it's like almost Jaws.
Yeah.
But you hear it in every. I'll put it in. It's like I remember playing it off of a sound effects CD in like film school. Like it's that. It's like everybody had those stock sound effects or whatever. Hello and welcome back to the 212th episode. Good, Bad, or Bad, the show where we watch terrible movies and tell you if you should tune in host. Mr. Brian Show will join again.
I'm still coming out of cryostasis. Brian put me in it so I didn't have to change shirts.
Yes.
That's clearly what happened.
I just shut you down between episodes.
Yeah, I'm like a robot.
Yeah. Definitely didn't just forget and we said, fuck it. Let's just record the next episode. A peek behind the mirror. So 212th episode. Today, we got,
This was a mailbag.
This was a mailbag episode. I think, well, it's over. Wait, hold on. See if I can find it.
I think it is in that.
No, it's somewhere else. Well, it was in this pack of movies that just came. Oh, there it is. I see it.
Get it, Brian. Get it. Yeah. Python 2.
Python 2.
They're coming. Pythons.
This came in our most recent mailbag. The Beast is back.
Oh boy.
And Eric sent this and said that don't worry about the first one. The first one's pointless and not any good. Specifically said that it wasn't worth watching. And if that one wasn't worth watching and this one is, oof, that first one must be brutal.
Okay.
Because this movie sucks.
When I was watching this film, first off, it's got Johnny from The Karate Kid.
Billy Zabka, William Zabka, yeah.
Who had in other films too.
Yeah. Have we?
Yes. Cross.
Oh my God, he was in Cross?
He was. I thought he was one of the.
He could, yeah, that could be.
I thought he was like one of the sub bad guys, like the.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
it's been so long, I don't remember, but yeah, I think you might be right.
What the hell, man?
You fool. I can't die. But you can.
But so it's called Python. The first one, which we actually get a little recounting of the plot of the first one in this movie, thanks to Johnny Lawrence, Billy Zabka, because he was in the first one.
Yes.
And in the first one, he plays like a small town sheriff.
A deputy or something like that?
We had a plane go down just like this back in the States. A little town called Ruby. This isn't a racing circuit, Cooper. I was a cop there at the time. Got all sucked up in this thing just like you have.
This one's a very different plot, which opens up somewhere in Russia. It's like always a promising start.
Yes.
And we're on I was like, are we on the spaceship from Dracula 3000? Because it looks like it.
Yeah.
But we're in a military base somewhere in Russia.
It is the most generic sci-fi base possible.
It like literally could not be a more like slapped together generic. It could be a space station. It could be a military base. It could be a spaceship. It could be all these different things. So we see all these guys who are like standing in a corridor. They're watching. I guess they're on an elevator. Man, this movie I just realized what that was, because they're standing in this hallway and they're like looking at a thing on the wall that's counting down negative numbers.
Okay.
And I was like, what is that counting down to? And I just realized it's the elevator counting down the floors.
Yeah, they're like going up.
Okay. That makes sense. Then we're introduced to our main, for this intro, our main character, what is his name? Something Jefferson or Wash. Oh,
he's like a captain or something like that.
He's an American Army guy.
And this is a joint operation with the Russian military.
Yes.
My name is Colonel Robert Evans Jefferson Jr. I'm 46 years old. Of that 46, 26 years I spent in this man's United States Army.
He says, I love, he's explaining to the Russian army guys he's in a Russian military base right now. Yeah. And he says, for those of you who don't know where we are. And I was like, why would they not know?
Why would they not know?
You're the one who's, okay, whatever.
Now, for those of you that don't know where we are, this is the Russian-American Joint Military Operations Center. RAMJO for short.
But he just does that so as an audience, he can explain it to us, the audience.
Yeah.
But he gives this whole speech about how this is a joint operation between the U.S. and the Russians, blah, blah, blah. And at the end, he says, he gets to the reveal, so we can capture this 85-foot, 12-ton python.
What the hell?
This 85-foot, 12-ton python.
I know, and then he says, I know you've all been briefed on the mission, so I'll be brief.
Now, I know you've all been briefed on the mission, so I'll cut straight to the chase.
You just 2 seconds ago were like...
Now, for those of you that don't know where we are, this is the Russian-American Joint Military Operations Center.
Do you guys know where we are? Let me explain where we are. And now you're like, I know you've all been briefed on the mission, but like, it's like, oh, come on. What are we doing here? Also, did you notice the TV screens on the walls above them? Did you notice that at all? So they're in this like command center that has like TV screens everywhere. Yeah. The TV screens on the wall above them are printed out, stuck on the wall. You can see like the ripples in the paper.
That's great.
It's so stupid. It's so good. Anyway, so they gotta go capture this 85-foot, 12-ton python.
This 85-foot, 12-ton python.
And so they go into this cave. They get to this cave, and they start like rappelling down into this cave. And the guys rappelling into the cave just immediately start shooting at stuff we can't see.
What the hell are you shooting at?
And that's half this movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah, because they're not going to spend money on a goddamn CGI snake.
No, so half the movie is just people shooting off screen at things we can't see, and it's so fucking boring. We do kind of see it grab one guy. We see it go like and grab a guy, which is like, oh, there's a snake. Look at that. And then we get finally our big reveal of the snake is they throw a grenade or something at it, and we get this big explosion, and the snake rears up in front of the explosion, and it's like fire behind it, and it's this giant, terrible CGI.
Looks so bad.
And I love they superimpose the U.S. Army guy's face over the snake, like,
probably to make it look less terrible.
Yes, they're like, God, it looks bad. Can we hide it in any way possible? Let's just superimpose his face over it, I guess. And then they stun it. They have like these laser stun guns.
Yeah.
And they're like zap. They bug zap it basically. and it goes and falls over, and they have stunned it, and now they can capture it. And the credits roll. And did you notice the very first credit in the movie? Marcus Aurelius. I was like, Marcus Aurelius?
Who's this?
So Marcus Aurelius is a famous historical figure. From the movie Gladiator. Do you remember the I think Richard Harris plays Marcus Aurelius in that. He was a Roman emperor, like a famous Roman emperor and like philosopher who wrote like a bunch of like very like kind of like Sun Tzu Art of War style stuff, but about like anyways, Marcus Aurelius is like a famous historical figure. And there's a guy in this movie just named Marcus Aurelius, and it's the guy who plays the U.S. Army guy in the beginning.
That's hilarious.
And he's only in that opening scene, but he gets top billing in the opening credits.
All right.
Just Marcus Aurelius. I was like, all right, great. Then we cut after the opening credits, and a plane is flying.
Yes.
And this was so confusing to me. I didn't know if it was the same thing.
I was so confused. So are they? Is this like post World War or post fall of the Soviet Union?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be contemporary with when the movie came out, so like 2003 or whatever, 2005.
I mean, even then you're like post the
Berlin Wall,
Baltic Civil Wars and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think it's supposed to be like contemporary, like 2002.
Okay. Well, anyways, somewhere out in like say Bulgaria or something like that, we have like
some separatist
army, and they shoot down the plane.
They shoot down the plane, but I didn't realize at first this is the plane with the snake from the opening scene.
Yeah,
because one, the military guy from the opening scene is not on the plane.
No,
we don't ever see him.
He's gone.
None of the other people are, and two, this is the big. The container that the snake is in is...
It's Time Lord technology, Brian.
I'm not saying I got a fucking TARDIS, Kyle. This is the snake in a fucking TARDIS because they just established, and we saw
it's 85 feet long.
12 tons.
85-foot, 12-ton python.
The thing the snake is in is about the size of our desk.
Yes,
here.
it's very small.
It's like two human-sized coffins on top of each other. Like, that is the size of this thing. And they're like, yes, there's an 85-foot snake inside of that. I was like, what the fuck is this? Is so stupid. Oh my God.
Captain, calling a transport team now.
So they shoot down the plane, it crashes, and I was again, what I think maybe happened is that was the actual opening of the movie.
Yeah.
And that they decided they needed to establish capturing the snake, and so they filmed that whole beginning part like after the fact to like give them an additional and like an opening action scene. Yeah. And runtime for the film, all kinds of stuff. Is what I think was going on there.
Because it meets its like 1 hour and 30-minute time by just enough.
Because there's like 8 minutes of credits or whatever. It gets to like 124 and then rolls like
we're not in Jezebel territory.
No,
but we're close.
But it's a lot of credits. Anyway, so the plane crashes and we see this box that has the snake in it supposedly. Then we cut and we're introduced to our protagonists. There's two of them. Dwight and Nadja.
We are introduced to not C. Thomas Howell. I don't know how they found a discount C. Thomas Howell, but they did.
They did.
I think the actor's name is like Dana like Ashburn or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Ashwood or something like that. But yeah, no, he looks shockingly like C. Thomas Howell. It's very strange.
But he and his wife Nadja, the credits say Nadja, but I swear in the film he always says Nalia or something like that. I don't know.
Before I get into this, Nalia, are you still a Russian citizen?
Yes.
But and his wife is Russian or girlfriend. I guess why I don't know. Whatever.
She's Russian. And he's American, and they're in France, I think.
No, I thought they're in Russia. I think I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure they're in Russia. I think
we'll find this out.
But they're doing a deal. They're like, I don't know if they're smugglers or just shippers or
they are shippers and retrieval, like item retrieval or whatever.
But the guy they're working with seems shady. And they're doing shady stuff to where it seems like they're smuggling essentially. Yeah.
What is this? We agreed US dollars, 10,000 US dollars. We had a deal, Aziz.
Perhaps you should register a complaint, Mr. Stoddard. With who? I do not know.
They have a truck, and that's their whole thing, is that they have this truck that they drive around everywhere that they use to ship their stuff around. And then the guy they're talking to, who's an asshole, shortchanges them how much he was supposed to pay them.
Yeah, because he was supposed to pay them in US dollars.
Yeah, and he gives them Russian money or French money, whatever, wherever. I'm pretty sure they're in Russia, but because they don't go anywhere after they. Anyways, also I forgot we open up on the camera just staring at his wife's butt for like 5 minutes.
Yep, and
as
we get a reverse shot of the henchmen of the sleazy guys being like, "Oh,
nice,
yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that butt." He doesn't want to pay him, so they're already mad at him. And then as they're leaving, he's like, fine, whatever, they'll take the money and leave. And as they're leaving, the guy's like, how about I pay you a little bit of money and you let me fuck your wife? And he's like, and he snaps. He's like, oh, you motherfucker. And what he does is I don't know what he had. What did he give that guy? The little thing that he...
it's like some sort of like pottery thing.
Yeah.
Like an ancient pottery piece.
Something like that. But he's holding it and he freaks out and he like snaps. And so he like licks his fingers.
Like
a baseball pitcher, which we will find out is the thing. And he turns around and he just hucks this thing at the dude's forehead and hits him in the head. And a fight breaks out, and so all the guys are like starting to, it's about to go down. Which I was like, "What was your escape plan here, bud?" Because there's like 20 guys, and it's just you and your wife.
Yeah.
But luckily for him,
Johnny Lawrence shows up.
Johnny Lawrence shows up, playing a character named Larson in this movie.
Aziz! Mr. Larson!
Sorry, hope I didn't break anything.
Who we will find out later is a CIA agent. But he shows up and he's like, hey, and he like stops he like calms everything down and he's like, how much money did he owe you? And he writes a check for Dwight and gives him the $10,000 and then goes and like beats up the guy that shortchanged him. And then he explains that he was coming to find them because he needs somebody to transport something. He needed somebody with a truck, and they have a truck.
Yes.
So he's okay, sure.
Fortunately, the cargo did survive. They took it to a military base near Volganons, and we need to go pick it up.
How big's your cargo?
It's big enough that I need your truck and your services.
Then we cut back and to the military base, and they're inspecting they've retrieved the snake container, the snake TARDIS.
Yeah.
And they bring it back to the lab, and they're all like looking at it, like, I wonder what it is. And then it opens up. It's just like...
Let's have a look.
And then it just, in the most ridiculous looking thing possible, it does it come out of it?
Yeah, it goes...
It, like this 85-foot long snake, like
pops out of a little tiny...
like a snake charmer's trying to whistle it out.
But it pops out of a hole that's like, it's like a 1 foot square hole. Later, this thing will fill up entire subway tunnels almost. But it's just like, what? Okay, it's however big it needs to be for a given scene, I guess. That's fine. But it just starts eating everybody. It just it destroys the whole room, kills everybody in the room, except for one general who's like cowering in the corner, who we'll see later. But it just starts wreaking havoc. Then we cut back, and Dwight and his wife they're going to decide if they're going to take the mission. They told Johnny Lawrence they needed 2 hours to figure it out so they could go play catch together.
Yeah.
They go play catch and chat about it. And they play catch because, and we still don't know this yet, but during their catch, as they're talking, we get a little hint that I keep wanting to call him Johnny. Dwight has some mysterious backstory. Something happened in his past that he doesn't want to go back to America because of.
Shocker, he's a fucking MLB pitcher.
What happened? What I did. It's not something you just get over. You know why.
Quit punishing yourself. You're a good man. That's why I love you.
But that is the reason, but there's a specific reason that we'll get to. But he has some dark secret. His wife wants to go to America, but he doesn't because of this dark past that he has, which we'll get to.
Just like go to fucking like Idaho or something like that. You just go out in the middle of nowhere in the US.
You have to let the past go.
But so they agree to do it. They agree to do it, and as we cut, and we get this movie's Matrix influence scene, which is all of them slow-mo walking down the street in like black trench coats. It is Johnny Lawrence and his whole crew of like badasses or whatever.
It's the scene where are they going to in that part where they go into the apartment building that gets like bricked up, the one where the huge shootout happens with like mouse and stuff in the Matrix.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about in the Matrix. I thought you were talking about in this movie.
No.
Yeah, in the Matrix. Yes, yeah.
Is that where that's not where they see the Oracle for the first time?
I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen the Matrix movies.
Well, anyways, it's basically that.
Yes. But yeah, it's just them walking down the street like, and it's like the same music from the Matrix, and everyone's like, okay, come on, man, what are we doing?
The Matrix is a system, Neo.
But then this is where we find out, because then Dwight shows up and he gets introduced to all these guys. And one of the guys, who's like the main henchman working with Johnny Lawrence, is this Russian guy who knows who Dwight is. He's like, I recognize you. I was in New York for a while. You're that baseball player.
I love baseball. I saw you playing in New York. What a career. Now you're here.
And Dwight is very upset about this. He's like, and he's just like, he's very clearly like, whatever this thing is. And I was like, is he like Bill Buckner? Did he like boot like a ground ball? Do you know Bill Buckner?
Yeah.
And I was like, I was wondering if that's what we were setting up. If he like, bumbled the ball, like dropped the ball on the World Series saving catch or whatever, or if he's like Steve Bartman or something. Like I didn't know.
A great line would have been from this Russian dude. I hear you have killer fastball.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. That would have been good. That would have been good.
Hey, is everything all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
So they're then going to pick up this snake, I guess. So they get to this military base where it's been being held, but it's like abandoned. Like there's nobody answers the gate and like nothing. And they're like, what's going on? So they open the gate and they go inside and they're exploring and there's like smoke coming out of the facility when they go and look at it. I also love there's like an 80-yard line. I think it might be the one main Russian henchman guy goes, "There's no one here. This place is deserted."
There's no one here. Place is deserted.
And he says it like, this place is deserted.
Place is deserted.
Sounds like he should be like in a cutscene of like Wingman or something like that.
So good, dude.
Hey, I just gonna take a leak.
And then get back with the truck. We're not ready for a help yet.
Anyway, so their loader, the guy, they have a third guy with them that's like Vladi.
Yeah, he's like Dwight.
He calls him a loader,
Stoddard or something like that.
Yeah,
he's like the guy who just helps them with stuff.
Yeah, like he's like literally loads the truck, I think is the idea. But he like gets up and he sees like what's going on inside the base. Johnny Lawrence and them are exploring and they find like blood smeared. And this is my problem with this movie is it's so boring. Like every scene is the most boring version of the scene possible.
They need to stretch out everything that's not special effects or action oriented.
But even then, it's like when they find like the evidence of the massacre that occurred, the camera pans the room and it's just like some bloody sheets, and you're like, come on, man, get some body parts or give me something.
Blood splatter on the wall.
Get some blood spattered on the wall. You get some bodies at least laying. Do something. It's just like, oh, there's some bloody comforter. It's like, oh, this is nothing. This is so boring. But then, right after this, some shit goes down. Nadia gets chased by a snake briefly in a first-person camera view. We never even see the fucking snake. But I guess it does something to the truck because she comes back to the truck and its tire is like melted and on fire.
I thought the snake killed one person who was like getting some explosives out of the car.
That's what it was. Yeah. Somebody was getting something out of the truck or one of their cars and kills him, and it causes, I guess, the explosion to go off. And that is what blows up the truck. You're right. And it's so many times in this movie, they just like fade to black to avoid showing anything. They're just like, moving on. I don't know. Fuck, it's so embarrassing. But now, because the snake and everything has gone wrong, Larson's supposed to get its DNA, they say, which is like, sure.
He just gets some goop.
This mission's a scrub. Come and get us.
Negative. Find capsule and retrieve a sample for DNA.
Did you hear me say the fucking snake is out?
The DNA is now your mission priority.
He gets some goop, I think, so good for him or whatever. But this is where we find out Dwight's big, deep, dark secret, which is that...
Why he's got the yips.
He threw a fastball at a dude's head.
Yeah.
And hit him and like paralyzed him.
He hit a guy in his head with a 100 miles per hour fastball. On purpose? It's an unanswered question.
He got you ever seen that fastball that hit Giancarlo Stanton?
Yeah.
Like that, but worse.
Yeah. And the guys keep asking him, did you do it on purpose? And he never answers.
Why would it? Come on.
Well, and you assume no, but he never says no.
Now tell me something. Did you really try and kill Phillips? I mean, everybody knew you had a hard-on for each other, but was keeping a win that important to you? Was keeping your career that important to you?
He never says no. He might have done it on purpose. Look, back in the day, people used to buzz the tower. Now it's very much against like the baseball code to throw at somebody's head. Back in the day, this like the 80s or 90s, people were throwing at people's heads more often.
Still give him a good pop in the ribs.
People also weren't throwing like 110 miles an hour back then. They were throwing like 90. So it's like, yeah,
definitely a good thing now because like you get like a. I don't think Jordan Hicks has that velocity anymore, but you get 105 mile an hour fastball.
Oh yeah, Ryan Helsley throws 105. Chapman throws like 106.
Chapman drilled McCutcheon with like 106 mile an hour fastball.
Welcome to GBorBB baseball talk. It's our new podcast where everybody hates it. Oh God. Also, did you notice that constantly throughout this movie, the sound effects and the score, it's like the stock footage or stock music and sound effects you hear in everything or whatever?
Yeah, well, of course it is.
Not a word.
Of course it is.
They do that one dun like sound effect. It's not Jaws, but it's like almost Jaws.
Yeah.
But you hear it in every. I'll put it in. It's like I remember playing it off of a sound effects CD in like film school. Like it's that. It's like everybody had those stock sound effects or whatever, and they just I assume for licensing reasons.
It's so crazy to think that when we were still going through school, they literally had a physical library of CDs.
That's how like this. I think the short film I did for my practicum, which even then it was like 2011. We should have been, but we had a whole wall full of CDs that were just sound effects upon sound effects upon sound effects, and you would go through and you would look through the book and be like, okay, I need a baseball bat, and then it'd be like CD 24A or whatever, and you'd like, all right, that one, and then you get it out, and then you'd have to put it in your computer, and you have to rip the fucking sound you want. And put it. It's just like, oh my God. Now you just literally like sound effect, got it done.
We're old, Brian.
Get off my lawn. So then they find out, once they realize they finally see the snake, they get into the base. They go into the base because their shit's all fucked up. And they confront Larson, and they now realize that they're they got paid to transport an 85-foot snake, and he just punches Larson in the face. It's like, you fucking asshole.
You guys aren't afraid of snakes, are you?
But now they're trying to escape, and this is where shit starts getting insane. I have so many questions, Kyle. They're starting to escape, or they're trying to like figure out I don't know what they're gonna even trying to do, but they're trying to get away from the snake. And at one point, it busts into this big room that they're all in and sprays Vladdy in the face with venom.
Well, here's the thing. There's not just one snake.
Okay. No, there's not 2 snakes.
There is 2 snakes.
But there's not.
But there's not.
This movie's a liar,
but
Kyle.
There is.
There is, but there's not. Did you think the same thing? Because here's what happened.
I thought the snake that fell down, that was that snake's. That was them killing that snake.
Oh.
And I thought there was another snake.
There is 2 snakes.
Yeah.
But what I think, but you only see 2 snakes in one shot in the entire movie. I'm pretty sure what happened is because then at the end of the movie, we'll get there, but at the end of the movie, they're like, oh, it's the other snake as they're like leaving or whatever.
Yeah.
Come on, the other snake is coming.
I think what happened is that they shot this movie and it was always planned to have 1 snake. And then they realized how boring and ass this whole movie was. So during the rewrites and the reshooting, and not even reshooting, but during the rewrites and the re-edit to try to like save this movie, they're like, let's do the aliens thing and add an S to the end and say there's pythons. There's 2 of them now.
Oh, no.
We will never see them together. Every time they fight a snake, it's only 1 snake.
And you're only going to see it half the time.
And you're only going to see that 1 snake half the time. But we'll just say there are 2 snakes, and then at that way, when we kill the first snake, which I think is when they actually killed the snake, like I think the big, when they kill the snake at the end of the movie, I think that's like the big climax, they killed the snake. And then when they're running out and that second snake comes out, I'm 99% sure that's all added after the fact.
100%.
And the line of him going, oh no, the other snake was just retrofitting to make the story have 2 snakes.
It's so ridiculous.
Convinced. It's so bad.
Come on, the other snake is coming.
Anyways, Vladdy gets covered with venom in his face by the snake and dies. Nadja gets blinded. I think a flashbang, I guess. Or did she get venom in her eyes?
Flashbang.
Yeah, okay. She gets flashbang, so she can't see.
I can't see.
It's your eyes. It's your eyes. The blindness will wear off.
Which is important, really, just so she can't read the Russian signs to help them get out of here, because she is Russian and everybody else here is American, I guess.
It's too blurry.
Save your eyes. We'll make an educated guess.
This is where Larson explains the whole plot of the first movie, and we get flashbacks to the first movie. He's like, I was a sergeant, blah, blah. Anyways, now I'm CIA, and I have to help contain the snake or something like that.
Since I was a cop, the government drafted me into the agency to keep a lid on things. Now I'm pretty much the only authority on the matter. Now I'm gonna gather us a biosample and get us the hell out of here.
So then Nadia, because she can't see, they leave her in a room, and Dwight's going to look for something. And while she's in there, she gets attacked by the Russian general guy for some reason. He just like attacks her. He's like, I'll fucking kill you. Who are you? And it's like, well, she's not a snake, man. I can tell you that.
What the hell?
Who are you?
But he's trying to like choke her to death. But he gets eaten by a snake. I think this is where he gets eaten.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because Billy's got to interrogate him.
That's right. Billy does have to interrogate him eventually. But a different guy gets eaten by a snake. We actually see this guy get eaten by a snake, which was fun. And then this is where they establish there are 2 snakes. And I'm like, are there? Are there really?
There's another snake out there.
We know.
If you say so. We see 1 shot with 2 snakes, and I don't believe you.
Our way's blocked out by fire. We need C4 to blast through the flames. We need the C4 from the van.
How are we gonna get up there?
Meanwhile, they have to escape from this floor that they're on.
Yeah.
And the way they're going to do that...
Because one they can't get out of or collapse or something, but they have to go through the one that's on fire.
Yes. But they need to get... I need you to explain this to me. They need Nadia to go up the ventilation shaft because she's the only one that'll fit.
They're going up the ventilation shaft.
They've gone up the ventilation shaft.
But because she's the only one that'll fit in the ventilation shaft.
Ventilation ducts.
Shaft are so small, nobody can fit in there.
She can.
Yeah.
So she crawls through the ventilation shaft, and then she spends like 5 minutes running from the snake. Like on some other floor, like the snake's, and it has terrible sense of smell because she's like right next to it. And it's just like, but she's behind a pillar and it can't find her, I guess, or whatever. But then, so she runs from the snake for like 5 minutes, but then that scene just ends with her running back and arriving back to the room that she left from.
Yep.
Kyle, what did she fucking do?
I don't know.
Okay, I felt insane.
I don't know. I saw that. I was like, so what? She just found a way to get past the blockage or whatever?
So then she just runs around. So how did she get to them in the room they're in where they started if they couldn't get out of there and the only way out of there was the vent?
Movie magic.
What? But it's like I felt insane because I'm like, this is just they like decided they needed to invent. They're like, okay, you know, it'd be cool here if somebody crawled up in the vents. Well, why would they crawl up in the vents? They're trapped in this room. They got to get out of it. Okay. Well, then where does she go after she gets out of the vents? I don't know. She like gets back to the room with them. Well, then, but why was she in the vents? Why did she have to go in the vents if she could just get to the room that they're in from a different route? Shut the fuck up! I was like, what is happening?
This is that meme where it's the three people giving advice to like the sales manager, and then the third person gets like thrown out the window.
I was losing my what was the point of her going in the vents if she? Oh my god! Whatever.
Stoddard, did you try to hit that better?
What?
Oh, meanwhile, Dwight finds out the guy he hit in the head with a baseball can walk again. The Russian guy is like, did you know the Mitchell, the guy you hit, he can walk. He's fine.
Oh, cool.
Just in case you don't know, he's okay. He can walk again. I thought you should know.
And Dwight's like, oh, I guess I can go back to America now. I don't have that shame on me anymore.
Not ostracized to the freaking Europe.
Yeah. Oh god. So then they're like, all right, we got to get out of here because they're gonna blow this whole place up or whatever. And they're starting to leave, and they're crossing those little ramps in the silos or whatever the fuck those are. And this is where that one general guy that they found there gets eaten because it makes they're just running across. They're leaving. He just stops in the middle of them escaping and goes, "Don't leave me! Don't leave me!
Don't leave me! Don't leave me!"
Eaten by a snake.
Yes, it's so good.
Why did you stop? You were leaving. What is happening? It's just every event that happens at the end of this movie feels completely disconnected from like what's actually happening.
Yeah,
it's
from
like,
here on, it's pure chaos.
People just doing things because they need to do a thing in order for like an event to happen. And it's unbelievable. I had to pause and back it up like 4 times, like at the end of this movie, to be like, "What did I miss something? What is going on here? It makes no fucking sense." Then Larson just shoots the other guy who he like has him make a bomb out of a phone.
Yeah, he's making his explosives, and this is like the whole like no witnesses, and just starts shooting his own team.
Yeah, but he feels bad about it, Kyle. He goes, and then shoots him.
Our main Russian dude also gets like
I don't remember what happened to him.
The snake, I think this is right, the same one that ate the commander dude.
Yeah,
it like is going after them. They shoot her, whatever. The railing falls down.
Oh yeah, and that's right. And he like is hanging off the ledge.
Yeah,
And Dwight's trying to save him and pull him up, but he can't. And he drops him and he goes and falls down onto the snake. And that's when the snake dies. That's when the snake falls.
Died, yeah.
Yes, that is when the first one dies. But in my opinion, that's when the only one dies in the actual movie. And then the other one, that the second snake or whatever there is all fake, made up nonsense that was not actually in the movie. They just tried to add it because they thought it was too boring without it, which just doesn't make it any better.
But now Johnny Lawrence needs to make sure there's no witnesses.
Oh, no, this isn't the first snake. Because the first snake doesn't die falling there, because the first snake dies here.
Exploding.
Yeah.
So everybody gets up.
They all get to this room where everything's going down. And Dwight confronts Larson.
Yes.
And is like, motherfucker, let's get out of here. And Larson's like, you can't leave. Code black, some bullshit or whatever.
Why?
Black Project, no evidence. That was my job.
Bastard.
But as they're having this face-off and they're like arguing with each other, the snake just comes out of the darkness from behind Larson.
Coils Johnny up and like
wraps him up, and I love that the Johnny Lawrence is just standing there like, I'm being squeezed by a snake.
We're all gonna get out of here, okay? Put that down, okay? Don't push that button.
You're not gonna make it, Larson.
Also, we never see him get eaten.
No, we don't see anything. The last shot we see of him, he's somewhat squeezed by the snake, and then we just never see him again.
But before
the best moment in the movie,
before Johnny got like he wired a phone into the plastic explosives.
Yes,
that are formed into a ball. So
which is where the whole backstory comes to its culmination.
So Dwight tells, because like they have an auto call phone. Right?
Yeah, they have another phone
that will trigger this explosive. Yeah. He tells his wife to take the phone and
take the phone and run.
And he does a little lick, gets his nice grip going, gets
the dirt off his cleats.
Exactly, he gets his good two-seamer going.
Winds up, and chucks a fastball right into the snake's mouth. And then she calls it, and
boom!
Come on!
Blows the snake up, which is great. That is the best moment in the movie. But yeah, so they blow that, but again, we don't even see what happened. I guess he just got blown up. Yeah. Johnny must have got blown up.
But now they got a whole ass because everything's exploding?
Well, because now they got to run out because they know the bombers are coming.
Oh, right.
They sent bombers in to blow up everything. To wipe all the evidence out or whatever. So they got to get out of there. So they're like running for their lives, and they burst through the door and they're running outside. And then just out of nowhere, he's like, "Oh no, the other snake!" And another snake shows up behind him, like, and then it just gets bombed.
It gets bombed and exploded. It's great.
But the bombs do like nothing. They drop like a bunch of bombs from these stealth, like American stealth bombers, and all the explosions go off, and there's like no damage anywhere.
It's so funny, yeah.
It's just like the ground is all fine and everything. It's like, oh, they dropped a bunch of gasoline bombs. I guess that's exciting. But the snake just comes out of nowhere, dies. It's so stupid. They get out front, and then the Russian army shows up, and they're like, I guess we're saved. Seems probably not. I feel like the Russian army is going to have some bad news. This is not going to end well for you. Oh. But they're like, oh, we did it. Yay. Hooray. We're alive. The end.
Go us.
This movie's fucking bad.
This movie's bad. Yep.
I really was hoping it was going to be more entertaining than it was. It's 90% of it is just nothing happening.
But Brian, it's got two fangs up.
That it does, according to
Python is a constrictor and doesn't have fangs.
Steve Gidlow from the Ultimate DVD, 2 fangs up.
Boy.
Which, if you think about it, is almost like a negative review, because for fangs on a snake to be up, it would be like dead, laying on its back, like So it's a dead snake. There are 2 dead snakes.
Heyo.
bad. As always, you can do us a giant favor by heading over to patreon.com/GBorBB. Support us there, get access to bonus content, all that kind of good stuff. We're actually just about to record an episode on, what is it?
The Philips CDI.
Yes, that is our bonus episode this month, the Philips CDI, so look out for that. Should be a lot of fun. I have a podcast called merch. Head over to tpublic.com. I'm wearing. Yeah, I thought that was
no.
It looks like a quantum physics shirt.
It's actually a shirt of our, because I need to order new of our shirts. It's actually the shirt of Pizza Man.
Oh, the Pizza Man shirt. One of our fans.
One of our Patreon fans.
Look at that.
Awesome.
Amazing. tpublic.com. You can buy that merch. All the links are in the description. I have a podcast called This Film Is It. We're talking about movies that are based on books. When this episode's out, our most recent episode will have been Horton Hears a Who.
Oh, God.
That'll be our most recent episode.
Nice. That's a nice film.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen it, so yeah. Horton Hears a Who. That'll be our most recent episode, so look out for that. And that's gonna do it. As always, keep watching movies. Just don't watch fucking Python 2. I'm sorry. I appreciate the mail episode, or I appreciate you sending it in, Eric. This one was a stinker.
Yeah.
It was a stink. It had like one good moment. The payoff for the baseball thing is pretty good and stupid, but
the idea in my mind of having Johnny Lawrence from Karate Kid in there is pretty fun, and then having a literal discount C. Thomas Howell is hilarious too.
It's very good. That's gonna do it though. As always, I already said. Bye.
See ya.